Hello and welcome everybody to episode 23 of the CreaLien Design Podcast. My podcast about my knitting and occasionally spinning and crocheting and other crafts that I do. My name is Eline and I'm coming to you from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, where I live with my lovely cat Joop, who is not laying in his basket or sitting in a corner, but he is sitting here on the sofa behind me. You can find me online as CreaLien Design. I'm CreaLien Design basically everywhere. I'm on Instagram, on Ravelry, here on YouTube, and I have the yarn business, and that yarn business CreaLien Design, which you can find on Etsy, crealiendesign.etsy.com. So today it's the 24th of May. It's a Sunday. And the weather it's a gloomy day. It's raining. I just had a bike ride through the rain. That's why my hair is all like that. I don't like biking through the rain, but had to happen, so can't do anything about that. Yeah, I saw I had quite a couple of new viewers, so welcome. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching and giving me a go. I really appreciate it. Welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and checking me out again. I realized that this episode is quite short on my previous episode, but I thought I do really enjoy recording a podcast, and I had quite a bit of knitting, so I thought, well, why not record a podcast now? It's so many podcasters do it weekly. I don't usually do it weekly, but why not? Why not? I could do it weekly, at least this week. So yeah, here I am again. Yeah, let me just start, right? Let's start with a hoe. I have a hoe, you guys. I have a hoe with a lot of stitch markers. Let me show you this side. Yay! A sock. Well, let me turn it back to you, because this side, this marker here, shows where I was last week. So this week I decided I really needed to get my act together and just finish this sock already. So I finished the cuff and then did 15 rows of 1x1 rib. So let me show you this side. I really like how this looks. I think I really don't like knitting 1x1 rib, but I think it looks really neat. And yeah, and this is the sock. Yay, we have a hoe. And I did want to cast on the second sock already, but haven't done it yet. I think I will do that later today, because once that sock is cast on, it's easier to just grab and go. You know, it's easier if I think like, oh well, let's just work a bit on that sock, then I can just zoom through it. But for the toe I have to concentrate a little bit with the increases and stuff. So yeah, but I think I'll get there. I'm pretty sure I will cast it on this week, so hopefully next time I record I have at least a toe of the second sock. Yay, a hoe, a hoe. Oh, and the reason this is a hoe, because I have made a new rule for myself, or it's not really a rule, but I don't like wearing two socks that are the same. I don't do it with my store-bought socks, and I don't want to do it with my hand knit socks. So, and since I don't like knitting two socks that are identical or semi-identical, I have serious second sock syndrome. I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to knit two socks that are the same anymore. I'm not going to knit pairs anymore. But this is going to be a pair, and that's because I'm knitting this for a friend of mine. She asked me to knit her socks, and so I invited her to dye the yarn. So she dyed the yarn, or we did it together, and I'm knitting her a pair of socks out of them. And she likes to have 2 socks that are the same. So, yep, a hoe, we have a hoe, yay! Next up, last week I was showing you those socks out of my Galaxy yarn. Oh, I had knitted, well, hold on a second. I was knitting with this yarn. I don't know if you remember. This was a one-of-a-kind colorway, a happy accident in the dye pots that I really liked, and I wanted to keep this one for myself and knit socks out of them. And because it was a galaxy looking colorway, I thought what better than knit the Mercury socks, planet Mercury, and which is a lovely lace pattern that I've wanted to knit for the longest time. And maybe you remember from my last episode that I was in doubt about it, because the lace doesn't really show. So this is what I have, and what I showed you last time, that's this. I didn't work anymore on this. What I have here is I did 11 repeats because I wanted to do 12 repeats for the leg. But let me get into that in a minute. I did cast on for the second sock. And this is how far I got. A couple of repeats. So I'm working from the inside and the outside of the ball at the same time. And I'm knitting them concurrently. And the reason I'm doing that is this pattern is knit over 60 stitches. And 60 stitches is just too much for me. That's too many stitches. I knit my socks on 56 and that's a perfect stitch count for me. And 60 stitches is just too much. So for the leg that's okay, but it's not okay for the foot because it will be really loose and I don't like that. I like it to be, my socks to be fitted, especially since they will also get a bit looser over time when you wear them. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I will do, but what I'm thinking of doing is, these are 11 repeats and I think I want 12. So when I get to the same amount of repeats on this sock, I will then, for the back half of the stitches, decrease 2 stitches, so 1 on each side, then knit a heel flap and turn the heel, and then when I get to the gusset, I will decrease and decrease and decrease until I have 56 stitches. So I basically do an extra decrease in the gusset decreases, but at the same time I don't really want the lace pattern on my foot. So what I will do is, when I've turned the heel and I'm going to do the gusset decreases, I will at the same time fade out this lace pattern into like a triangle. I think that's what I will do, so that the rest of the sock will be in stockinette. But I don't feel like writing it all down. So I will make sure I get to the same point with this second sock, and then I can do the same thing on both socks, basically, without having to memorize it for a long time of having to write it down. And yes, this time I am actually knitting 2 of the same socks, and that is because it's a lace pattern, and lace just feels a bit different on your foot. And it's not like you don't really feel it, but you will feel it if you wear two different. If you wear a stockinette sock and a lace sock, you will feel that you have two different socks on your feet. But yeah, these are coming along nicely. I do enjoy them. I really do enjoy knitting the pattern, and I do enjoy the yarn. They don't work perfectly together, but who cares? Who cares really? I don't. So yeah. Oh, and maybe you want to know the pattern for it. The pattern that I'm using is, like I said, Mercury Socks by McKenzie. And I believe it was a paid for pattern on Ravelry. But maybe it was a free pattern, but I believe it was paid for. This picture shows a bit better what the sock will look like. It just shows the lace pattern a bit nicer in that photo. So next up, I have another WIP. I was looking for a stitch marker to match a certain project that I was working on, and then I found this stitch marker and I was like, oh, this reminds me of those other socks that I have on the needles in my long-term WIP basket. Ah, I want to work on those. So I took those out last night. And I worked on them last night. So it's just a day of knitting. But they are my Milka Happy Unicorn socks. Look at this yarn, you guys. Can you see the sparkle in there? It is a sparkly yarn. Whee! Yay! Happy days! Yeah, I do really enjoy this yarn. This is one that I dyed. This was pre-CreaLien Design. It was just something I put in the dye pot. I didn't really know what I was doing yet. So I knew the basics of dyeing, but this was just something to learn some techniques and to try out and to play with colors and just have fun. And these are socks. Let me get them untangled a bit. Yeah. Socks, 2 at a time. I'm knitting these 2 at a time, which I actually really enjoy. I'm not sure yet. I do enjoy it and I don't enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of knitting magic loop, but that might be that I just don't like the cable of the eddy. These are eddy circulars. And the cable is smooth, and cord transition, needle cord transition is really smooth, no snags at all. It's perfectly fine. The needles are perfectly fine, but I just prefer my Chow Goose. I really prefer the feel of the needle of my Chow Goose and the cable of my Chow Goose. But hey, they were on these needles, so I'm just going for these again. Yeah, this was the marker I got my hands on last night. I found it within the little basket of my markers, and they just reminded me of these socks. So I put in this marker last night. This is where I was, and I knitted this much, which is not bad. It's not that much, but it's not bad. And I really like how these socks are looking. I'm knitting them toe up, as you can see. No pattern, just my basic sock recipe, which is toe up, 2.5mm needles, 56 stitches. And it's so funny, this sock, this one, has like really pooling and spiral pooling going on here. It's even more on the back. can you see this spiraling going on? I think it's super cool. And oh, for the heel, I put in German short row heel in garter stitch. So nothing special, but just instead of knitting, you purl, and instead of purling, you knit. Basically, that's it. And the other sock doesn't have that at all. It doesn't have any pooling whatsoever. I love these. I really enjoy them. I'm really happy that I took them out of the long-term WIP basket. I want to work on these. I'm going to finish them soon, I think. Because this is what I've done last night, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but I knit that on 2 socks, right? So if it were just 1 sock, I would, like, instead of this much, I had this much. Which is not bad. And if I fold them in half. Okay, no, I'm not even close to there yet, but you know, we're getting there. And I really enjoy them. So yeah, I seem to be on a sort of a sock kick or something. Last week I also had so many socks going on, but I just really enjoy working on them right now. Don't know why, but yeah, I do. And there's a cat hair on my nose. And it's really annoying because it tickles. So yeah, but I have been working on something else as well. And this week I haven't really put any work on my brioche shawl. I have only knit 2 rows, literally 2 rows, so it's not worth showing. I do still love it and I do still want to work on it, but it just didn't happen last week, which is totally fine. But I took out another project that I haven't worked on in a while, and I thought it deserved some love. And that is, my friends, that is one of the patterns out of my West Knits Best Knits book by Stephen West. Do you remember which one I was working on? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, so I will show you. My Vertices Unite! Yeah! Yep, I'm working on my Vertices Unite again. So, let me show you what I've got so far. Yay, it's growing. It's getting big, it's getting huge. Yay, I love it. Look, and it's all curly whirly here, but see that? See that? See that? See that? See that? Yay! So, what you have seen before, section 1, with that's this stripy section, and for the pink color I used my Loulou colorway on the sparkle base, and the light yellow one is Hot Blondie. And then this is section 2, which I knit out of green is Mossy Bridges, and the darker yellow is Banana Peel. They are all out of my own yarn because this is for a shop sample. And then this section, section 3, is out of my Glacier colorway, lovely light blue. And then now, oh wait, no, then there was section 4. I don't know if I'd shown you that before on the podcast. Have I shown you that? I'm not sure. Maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't. This is section 4 out of my Banana Peel colorway. I love that one. Look at it. It's just like a banana peel. And now I'm working on section 5. Ta-da-da-da. And for section 5, I'm using my Loulou colorway again, which is also here. And my Mossy Bridges, which is the blue one, that's also in like this section. And this is Loulou. I named this after my cat who passed away last November, I mean. Her name was Loulou, and this was her colors. I dyed this when she was at animal hospital. And this one is called Mossy Bridges. Look at that, it's showing up so nicely. These colors are accurate, so it's actually, it has these neon pops. And look at them together. I like them. I really like how these are working together. Yep, I'm enjoying it. It's fun work. I didn't do that much because this section was finished for a little while now, and this was just one evening I picked it up and worked on it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I have to fill it up until this corner, and then there's going to be section 6, and that's it. Then it's done. Well, then it's not done. Then you're supposed to knit an I-cord border all the way around this thing. All the way around. I'm not looking forward to doing that, I have to say. I mean, it will look lovely and I think it will be worth it, but I don't like knitting I-cord, and I think it will take me forever. So, but I think it will be worth it, so I think I will just do it and just plow through and just get on with it. I think that's the best tactic here. So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about with you today, and I wanted to suggest some podcasts. I don't usually do this, but there are 2 podcasts that are new and I think they both deserve a little bit of love. One of them is Dutch and the other one is in English. It's an American, it's in America, so it's an American podcast. And let me start with the English version first, and that's the Bearded Purl podcast. It's hosted by Caleb, and you may or may not know Caleb as Close to Amish on Instagram. He knits, he spins, he weaves, he crochets, he does all kinds of crafts, and he's really good at them. And he has now started a podcast, and he has uploaded his 2nd episode last week. And what I like about it, you know what's really cool, his husband Justin, I believe his name is Justin, but they both knit and they both spin and they work with each other's yarns and on each other's projects. I mean, talking about relationship goals, how amazing is that if your partner has the same passion for crafts as you do? I mean, wow. Anyway, what I like about the podcast is that because it's from America, you see all those things that we don't have here in Europe. He uses all these brands, and some I have never heard of, some I just really would like to get my hands on but can't really. So yeah, I really enjoy that. So give him some love. His podcast is called The Bearded Purl. He also has made a new Instagram for the podcast, and that's The Bearded Purl. So yeah, check him out if you want to. And the other podcast is a Dutch podcast, which is called Siets and the Maak. And hi Sietske. Sietske is Dutch, and she started podcasting last week, and she recorded her 2nd episode yesterday. It's all new, and she does all kinds of crafts. Basically, she does basically everything, I think, but mainly knitting and cross stitching, which is very interesting, I think. So if you're into knitting, into cross stitching and other stuff, other crafty stuff, she does everything like I said, you understand Dutch or you want to learn Dutch, go check her out, give her some love. So yeah, you guys, that's basically all I have to tell you today. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask them in the comments. I would love to get back to you, and I would love to get to know you better, and maybe I'll answer them in the comments, maybe I'll answer them in the podcast next time. So everything I talked about in this episode, all the patterns and everything can be found in the description box right down below. You can also find all the links to all the places you can find me. So on that note, if you enjoyed my podcast, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to get up to date on when I record a new episode, please hit the subscribe button and you get a notification each time I upload something here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm most active, and I also post there if I have like uploaded a new episode. So that was it for today. Until I see you again, I wish you a lot of fun with all the crafty things you do. I hope you're staying safe, I hope you're staying well and sane, and until I see you again, bye!